Hello and welcome to week 32 of the Ray of Hope Crochet Along, and this week we're making the link stitch. This is quite an unusual stitch as it's made with individual pieces that you weave through each other, and it creates this kind of a net-like effect. Okay, so we're going to be using a 3.5mm hook for this piece, and we're going to start with a chain of 80. Okay, so in the third chain from your hook you're going to make a single crochet. Okay, and you're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches as well. 2 and 3. So your turning chain counts as a stitch, so you've ended up with 5 single crochet. Now we're going to chain 4. You're going to skip 4 stitches, and in the next stitch you'll make a single crochet and a single crochet in the next 3 stitches as well. So for the pattern for this row is you're going to chain 4, skip 4 stitches, okay, and then make 4 single crochet. 2, 3 and 4. So you're going to end up with a series of 4 single crochet and a chain space of 4 all across the row. So I'm going to carry on with that, and I shall see you when we get to our last 6 stitches. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row, and after the last chain 4, skip 4, I've done single crocheted in the next 4 stitches as per the pattern, and it leaves me with 2 stitches left, and in those 2 stitches I'm going to single crochet. Okay, and that is the end of row 1 and our first piece. So each of our pieces that we're using to make this stitch is only 1 row long, and we're going to cut off after every row. Okay, so now we need to start row 2, which is piece 2, and thread them together. Okay, so our second piece, we start it in exactly the same way, and it's made in exactly the same way, it's just that we need to weave it through the first piece and work around our spaces. So you start with a chain of 80, and then once you've finished your chain, we're going to weave it through our first piece. So I marked the first stitch of our first piece, even though we don't need to work into this piece, but it just shows which side is which. Okay, so when threading through, you can start from above or below, and you will alternate between your pieces if you start in front or behind. So for this one I'm going to start weaving in front, and all I'm going to do is weave that chain through each of the pieces. So through the front and through the back. Okay, and I'll do that all the way to the end. I find it easier to do this when we start rather than wait till the end. Okay, through the last one. Okay, so back to the starting end. Okay, so we're going to start in exactly the same way. In the third chain from your hook, you're going to make a single crochet, and then you'll make 3 more. 1, 2 and 3. Then chain 4. Okay, so before we do our next 4 single crochet, what we need to do is make sure we know where our stitches are. So I'm going to pull the chain so I can see where I made my last stitch, and then I'm going to skip the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in the next stitch, oops, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is there, I'm going to make my 4 single crochet. So you can see, instead of working behind, which is where my first 4 stitches were, we're now working in front. And you have to work your stitches backwards and forwards over the first piece. 2, 3. Okay, so there's my 4 single crochet. And now I'm going to chain 4. And now need to go back to the other side. It's always tricky going back to the back side, so I find it easier to really pull that piece back so you can see where I made my last single crochet, which is there. You can see where the stitch has been pulled up. And then skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then make my next set of 4 single crochet. And I'm now working at the back of the first piece again. Okay, and so this is how you weave your pieces together. 1, 2, 3, put some more yarn, and 4, and then chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we need to come to the front again. So between every 4 set of single crochet you're going to be moving backwards and forwards from the last piece. So if I bring it forward, there you can see the hole where that last stitch is pulling. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip those and then make my next single crochet and then single crochet another 3. 1, oops, 2 and 3. And that's how they interlock. So we get these little kind of egg-shaped pieces and they just interlock with each other. So you can see the ends, they're not joined. We're going to join the ends with our slip stitch border. Okay, so for the other pieces we do exactly the same. Okay, so if you look, this first piece, here's the foundation chain, and I started weaving it from behind. The next piece above, I start weaving from the front through our second piece holes. So all the pieces are made exactly the same. Okay, and there's going to be 9 pieces. So you'll be making 9 sets. Each one weave through. So if your previous piece was woven through the back, the next one's wove through the front, the start, and then you go through the back again. And that will alternate them all up. Don't worry if you lose track. It just has to look at the piece really. So I'm going to carry on with that, and after we've got the 9th piece I shall come back and show you what we're doing for the slip stitch border. Okay, so I've got all 9 pieces and I've got them all linked together. Okay, so now we're going to add our slip stitch border. And the slip stitch border will join the ends of the pieces together. Okay, so we have 9 pieces and we need 14 stitches down the short end. And to do that, you're going to make 2 slip stitches into every other row. So in your odd rows, so rows 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9, you'll make 2 slip stitches into the side of that piece. And the even rows, rows 2, 4, 6 and 8, you'll make 1 slip stitch. And that will give you 14 slip stitches, and we'll join all these pieces together at the ends. Okay, and then on your long edges you'll make 1 slip stitch in every stitch. Okay, so including the stitches in the chain spaces, 1 slip stitch in each stitch, and you'll have 79 slip stitches across the long row. So once you've done that, you can weave in all your ends and join it to last week's ray. So it's a bit of a different stitch, an interesting one. I hope you enjoy it, and I shall see you next time for the next stitch. Bye for now.